After a combined total of 6 months in Argentina, I visited 17 cities in the country, and in this video I'm going to rank these 17 cities from worst to best. Now I do have to make a few disclaimers. The first disclaimer that I have to make is that the 17 cities in this list are the 17 cities that I visited. If a city is not in this list, it's because I did not visit that city. I can't rank a city that I did not visit. I'm sure someone is going to comment,
"Why is El Calafate not in the list? It's an absolute disgrace that El Calafate is not in the list."
Well, unfortunately, I could not fit El Calafate into my itinerary, so therefore it's not going to be in this list. And also, you will not see cities like Hoi Hoi or cities like Tucumán in this list because, again, I did not go to these cities. Now, the second disclaimer I have to make is regarding how I'm ranking these cities. What is the criteria? Well, the criteria is simply 17th place was my least favourite city and first place was my favourite. There are many things that I like in cities, and as I go along this video, I will try to justify why each city is in the position that it is in. Now, make sure you do comment below and let me know if you agree or disagree with my rankings, and do your rankings as well. Comment below your rankings. But now let's get into my list. In 17th place, I've got to go with Villa Carlos Paz. It's a town located in Córdoba province, about an hour bus ride away from the main city of Córdoba. I spent one day here, and even though it's not the worst place I've ever been to, it's not the best. It's not very pretty at all. There's a lake you can have a walk around. There's a shopping centre, but other than that, it's really not that great, to be honest. But if you do read the comments to the YouTube video that I made about Villa Carlos Paz, you can see on the screen here, some people obviously love Villa Carlos Paz, and apparently it welcomes 1 million tourists every year. I think there's a big casino scene there, so maybe that's why. The video I made about the town is on the screen here, but yeah, I just found it to be a very ugly place. But if you do end up there for some reason, I recommend you go to this coffee shop, Mr. Coffee. That was nice. Now let's move on to 16th place. 16th place will be a town called La Cumbre. La Cumbre is also in the province of Córdoba, but this town is located 2.5 hours on a bus ride to the north of the city of Córdoba. Now, La Cumbre is certainly a prettier town than Villa Carlos Paz. You have prettier buildings here. The town is also located in the mountains of Córdoba. The locals call them the Sierras. There is a hill you can walk up, and there is actually a Christ the Redeemer statue there. Now, the reason why I came here is because the town was actually partially constructed by English people. The railway here was built by English engineers who came over, and many of these engineers and their families actually came here to stay long term. There are a couple of nice bars and restaurants and cafes around the town, but it's very small. You'd probably be bored here after one day. The town is really quiet too, so unless you take an interest into the English history, there probably isn't much of a purpose of you coming here or putting this town into your itinerary. Now, the next city in my list in 15th place is going to be Cafayate, located in the north of Argentina in the province of Salta. Now, obviously Argentina is famous for its wine, specifically Mendoza, but Cafayate is actually the second most famous region for wine in the country. Outside of the town of Cafayate, you have these very impressive red mountains in the province. But as for the town itself, it is again a pretty small town. You have some restaurants and some bars there. Now, there is a little shop in Cafayate called Calchaquitos, and you can actually buy wine flavored alfajores here. If you don't know, alfajores are these Argentinian biscuits with chocolate covered on the outside. Now, to get to Cafayate and to do the wine tours, most people start in Salta. That's where most people book the tours from, and that's what I did. In fact, this is actually the tour that I did on the screen here. I've put a link to this tour down below in the description if you are interested. But if you don't want to book a tour, you can also get to Cafayate by public bus from Salta. And when I say from Salta, I mean from the city of Salta, because again, Salta is a city and it's also a province too. I do rank Cafayate above La Cumbre. I do think it's a nicer town. You do have more things to do. I think the natural setting is more beautiful, but still it's pretty small. You can see everything there in a few hours. I would be very bored spending more than one day here. Now let's move on to city number 14 in my list. 14th place is going to be Guyman. Guyman is an interesting place because this is actually a Welsh colony. Welsh people came to settle here in the 1860s. Argentina offered these Welsh people a chance to come here and escape from England and the English language and maintain their own language and customs. Again, it's another very small town. It's very quiet, very peaceful here. The main reason why people come here is to go to one of the afternoon tea houses. There are a few Welsh tea houses in Guyman that you can go to. The way it works at these tea houses is that you get a set menu and you get a selection of cakes and also unlimited tea. So for that reason, I've got to put Guyman above Cafayate, because unlimited tea and cakes for me is a little bit better than wine. If you do need or want more information on Guyman, how to get there by public transport, how to book a place at one of these tea houses, I made a video all all about that, it is here on the screen. Just subscribe to my channel and you will be able to view it. So I do think that Gaiman is a nice place to spend an afternoon, but if you are coming to Argentina on a short 2-week or 3-week itinerary, I would not stress to put Gaiman into your itinerary. Now for 13th place, the ranking of this city is probably going to be the most controversial decision in this list. In 13th place, I'm going to go for Mendoza. Now I do apologize here because some of my clips are really not good quality. They were taken from my old phone. Now many people say that Mendoza is one of the top places to come and visit in Argentina, but from a personal perspective, I was quite underwhelmed. Now the city centre of Mendoza did not majorly impress me. The architecture is certainly not the best architecture in Argentina. The centre of the city also doesn't have that busy, vibrant feel that you get in cities like Cordoba or Rosario and of course Buenos Aires. Obviously lots of people come to Mendoza for the wineries and the wine tours, and the wine here was very nice, but I'm not a wine guru. I'm not an expert on all the different types of grapes and the production techniques. The wine was nice though, but you can get good wine everywhere in Argentina, and you can do wine tours in other parts of the country. I did not think that drinking wine here was more unique than the rest of the country, but again, I'm not a wine expert. Also, the mountains around Mendoza are very nice as well, but let's be real, the mountains in Patagonia are more beautiful than the mountains in Mendoza, and even the mountains in the north in Salta, in my view, are more striking and more beautiful. You know, Mendoza certainly has to be above places like Gaiman and Cafayate in this list, because there are a lot of things you can do. You can book horse riding tours, you can have asados in the countryside, you can go river rafting along the rivers, you can go obviously to the wineries, and if you are interested in these activities, I have put links to these activities below in the description. But when people say that Mendoza is one of the best places to go in South America, I don't know about that. I just think Mendoza is one of the most overrated destinations in Argentina. If you think I am wrong, explain why you think I'm wrong in the comments, but I just did not get the hype about Mendoza. Maybe I need to come back for a second time. Sometimes you do need to go back to cities with a fresh pair of eyes, especially if other people say the city is amazing, but you personally don't think it's great. But for now, I'm going to stick with Mendoza in 13th place, and that leads us on to 12th place. And 12th place in this list is going to be San Martin de los Andes. San Martin de los Andes is a beautiful little town in the Lake District of Argentina. The town has a very strong German, Austrian and Swiss influence. You see that in the buildings and the architecture in the town. A lot of Central Europeans moved to this region of Argentina in the 19th century, and allegedly, maybe a famous painter from Austria could have moved to this part of Argentina a couple of hours drive outside of San Martin de los Andes as well. If you look at these clips here, you would not blame him, would you? You can see here that it is a beautiful part of the world, and if you are blessed with good weather when you come here, you do have beaches by the lakes you can go to. The town itself does have some nice restaurants and cafes and bars. It is pretty small, but it's just a really nice place to chill for a few days and recharge your batteries. I would not say that San Martin de los Andes is a must-visit destination, but if you are in the Lake District, if you are in Bariloche, try and fit it in because it is a good place to check out. Now, the city that I will put in 11th place is a bit of a strange choice. Even I'm doubting myself about this decision, but I'm going to stick with my choice. I'm going to put La Plata in 11th place. So La Plata is a 1 hour and 30-minute train ride away from Buenos Aires. Even though it's quite close to Buenos Aires, it is not that touristy. It is actually one of the top 10 largest cities in Argentina. There is quite a popular university there, so you do get students across South America. Additionally, La Plata actually has the largest cathedral in Argentina. For a small fee, you can actually go to the top, but the view is a little bit restricted, to be honest. The city does have a good selection of bars and cafes and restaurants. There is a market that I really like there. It's a market called Mercado Baxar. Any city that has a food court with good international food options always gets a thumbs up from me. There is also like this amusement park. If you take a 10 or 15-minute Uber ride from the city centre, you can go here to República de los Niños. So even though it's not very touristy at all, there are some interesting things you can do here. I find La Plata to be a very livable city. If I had to move to Argentina, La Plata would be one of the cities that I would consider. It would not be my first choice. It is not the prettiest city. It is not the most vibrant city, but you're near Buenos Aires. You've got lots of parks and green spaces in La Plata. It's just a nice place to live, I think. You have all of the amenities of a big city, but you don't have the problems of a super big city like Buenos Aires. Now it is time to move into the top 10 cities in my rankings, but just before I do that, it is important to mention that if you are a foreigner coming to Argentina sometime soon, the entry requirements did change on the 1st of July 2025 because it is now mandatory to have travel insurance to enter the country. Now I have put a link below below in the description and the comment section to a travel insurance provider called Safety Wing. I recommend them because you pay as you go with Safety Wing. You pay every 4 weeks. This is especially useful if you're coming to Argentina on a one-way ticket and you don't know when you're coming back. Now, if you look at the entry requirements, the insurance has to cover hospital stays, medical care, and also emergency evacuation. And the essential plan with Safety Wing covers all of that. You get covered for hospital stays, emergency evacuation. You also get covered for lost luggage as well. Safety Wing also offer a complete plan, which is a little bit more expensive than the essential plan. This is better if you want to be covered for more longer term care, but the essential plan is enough in order to satisfy the Argentina entry requirements. As I said, the link to Safety Wing is below in the description, and also there is a QR code on the screen you can use as well. If you use the link or the QR code, it is at no extra cost to you, and it does help out the channel a little bit too. Now, moving on to the city in 10th place, I'm going to go with Rosario. Rosario is the third largest city in Argentina, and it is famous for being the hometown of Messi. Rosario is certainly a city with more energy than La Plata, and also nicer architecture as well. The architecture in the city center reminds me a lot of the architecture in Buenos Aires or even Montevideo in Uruguay. If you come to Rosario during the warmer months, take a walk along the River Paraná in the evening. It's a really nice vibe. Everyone is out and about. There are market stalls. I was very lucky that I was in Rosario during the 300th anniversary of the city. You had all of these food markets with food from all around the world. You had public concerts. Now, Rosario is renowned as one of the most dangerous cities in Argentina, and there certainly is a little bit of a grittier vibe to the city, but I did not think it was a dangerous city. I felt perfectly safe here. Prices in Rosario are really good as well. It's one of the cheapest cities in this entire list. It is a pleasant city. I don't really have a strong feeling, either a strong positive feeling or a strong negative feeling to the city. There isn't really a whole lot of things to do. There aren't really many good day trip options you can take from Rosario. I don't think the food scene or the bar scene is the best in the country. I think other cities have better scenes in that regard, but it is nice to come and spend a few days here. So I'm going to say 10th place for Rosario is fair. So now moving on to 9th place. In 9th place, I'm going to go with Puerto Madryn. Puerto Madryn is much more of a tourist city compared with Rosario. Now, Puerto Madryn certainly is not as beautiful as Rosario, at least from an architecture perspective, but the excursions that you can do in Puerto Madryn make up for it. If you come during the right season, you can go on a boat tour and do whale watching. You can also go to the largest penguin colony in South America. It's called Punta Tombo, and you can walk along with the penguins there. I've put a link below to the tour that I booked to go and see the penguins. Highly recommend it. I also made a video about Punta Tombo and everything you need to know. Just check that video out on my channel homepage. Now, you can also easily get to the Welsh town Gaiman that we mentioned earlier on in the video from Puerto Madryn via public transport. So that's another day trip you can do from Puerto Madryn. And the town itself is not as bad as what I thought it would be. Again, as I said earlier, it's not the prettiest town architecturally, but there's some nice bars there, cafes, restaurants, and if you're lucky with the weather, you've literally got the beach right in front of you in the town. So it's a good tourist town. I'm not sure I would want to live there, but as a tourist, it's somewhere worth checking out in my opinion. Now it's time to move on to 8th place in my rankings, and in 8th place it's going to be Villa General Belgrano. And Villa General Belgrano is a beautiful town located in Cordoba province, and this town is actually home to the Argentinian Oktoberfest. It is renowned as the most German town in the country, and you can see clearly by the buildings and the architecture, you've definitely got that German vibe here. The town is located in some really nice countryside. If you can come here during the Oktoberfest period, I would recommend that because there is a really good energy to the town during that period. But as long as you come in the warmer months, that would be good. You have a nearby town called La Cumbrecita, and that's another German, Austrian, Swiss little village, and there are lakes there that you can swim in the summer. Of course, you've got good food and good pubs and good beer that you can have in the town. I just think Villa General Belgrano is one of the most beautiful places in the country. I really enjoyed my day here. I don't rank it higher because I don't think the town is a must-visit destination again in Argentina, but if you do have enough time in the country, definitely plan to spend a day or a couple of days here. Now, moving on to 7th place in my rankings. 7th place is going to be Mar del Plata. Now, Mar del Plata is Argentina's most famous beach vacation resort. In the summer, December, January, February, lots of Argentinians come here on their summer holidays. A lot of wealthy Argentines actually have holiday homes here, and the city is very beautiful. The city is full of really nice European style buildings and houses and architecture. You've got a really good cafe scene here, lots of very good cafes that I went to, good food, good beer, good pubs. The city is also pretty safe as well. Again, if I had to move to Argentina, Mar del Plata would be one of my top choices. It's just a really livable place. Now, to be honest, the weather here is not the best. Even in the summer, the weather is strange. You may get one really hot day, but then the next day it could be pretty chilly. Also, I don't think the beaches in the city are the best, but to be honest, I just think Brazil is a better beach country than Argentina, for example. Regardless though, I really like Mar del Plata, really lovely city. It is a little bit more expensive here than average Argentinian cities, but as a holiday town, that is to be expected. Now let's move on to 6th place, and we're starting to head into the cities that I think are must visit cities. 6th place is going to be Salta. Salta is located up in the north of Argentina, and of course I did mention Salta earlier on in the video because this is the city where you can do your wine tours to Cafajate. The city of Salta itself has some really pretty buildings, lots of colourful churches and colonial architecture. Salta and the north of Argentina is a little bit different to the rest of the country because it is certainly more indigenous here. It's nice to come here and get the contrast with this part of the country compared with stereotypical European Argentina. It is one of the cheapest cities in this whole list. The north is the cheapest part of Argentina. You also have good food here. The empanadas in Salta are the best in the country, at least in my opinion. They do use a bit more spice in their cooking here. When you're in the city, you can go up to the cable car, up to the San Bernardo mountain. You get a nice view across the city there. I mentioned earlier in the video about the red mountains and the red landscapes that you do get in Salta province, but you can book excursions from Salta up to the Jujuy province. That's where you will find the Salinas Grandes salt flats. Obviously, most people know about the famous salt flats in Bolivia, but not many people realize that there are actually salt flats you can visit in this region of Argentina. For example, this tour that I put on the screen here takes you to those salt flats, and also you get to visit this indigenous town up in the colourful mountains called Purmamarca. The link to this tour is down below in the description and the comment section. But yeah, Salta and the surrounding area is one of the best places in Argentina, without a doubt. If you can come here, I definitely recommend coming here. Now it is time to reveal my top 5 favourite cities in Argentina. In 5th place, I'm going to go with Puerto Iguazu. Of course, Puerto Iguazu is home to the Iguazu Falls. Now, the funny thing is that I only spent one day in Puerto Iguazu, and I actually did not go to the Argentinian side of the falls. I only went to the Brazilian side of the falls. The reason being is because I crossed over the border from Brazil into Argentina quite late. There were no buses running from the Puerto Iguazu bus terminal to the falls anymore, and I did not have enough cash obby to get a taxi, so unfortunately I did not get a chance to see the falls because I had a flight to Buenos Aires literally the next day. But having been to the Brazilian side of the falls is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. My videos and clips here really don't do it justice. It is incredibly grand. Hopefully one day I can go and see the Argentinian side. I don't have too many clips of the town of Puerto Iguazu, only some fuzzy, very bad quality videos from my old phone, as you can see here. But the town was nice buildings, nice restaurants and bars. Another one of these tourist towns, so a nice place to spend a few days. But Iguazu Falls is certainly a must-visit destination for me. Now, in 4th place, I'm going to go with the end of the world, Ushuaia. It is a surreal experience being in the southernmost city in the world, or at least the most southern city in the world that we are aware of. Well, there is actually a settlement in Chile called Puerto Williams, which is a little bit further south than Ushuaia, but Ushuaia is the city with the southernmost international airport. Ushuaia is the city with the southernmost Irish pub, and Ushuaia is the city with the southernmost railway. So for all intents and purposes, we will say that Ushuaia is the southernmost city in the world. As you can imagine, the city is surrounded by beautiful mountains and scenery and landscapes. The town gave me Norwegian vibes or Scandinavian vibes. One of the best things I did in Argentina was take a boat tour along the Beagle Channel. I highly recommend you do so. Make sure that you book the boat tour that goes to Isla Martillo so you can see the penguins. That's where the penguins are located. I mentioned earlier in the video about Punta Tombo near Puerto Madryn, the largest penguin colony in South America. At Punta Tombo, you only see one species of penguin, whereas here in Ushuaia at Isla Martillo, you see 2 species, and the penguins are more concentrated. So I found the penguins in Isla Martillo to be more impressive for me personally. I put a link below in the description to the boat tour that I booked, and if you get lucky, you may be even able to see whales. In my clip here, I just caught the tail of a whale. Coming to Ushuaia certainly is a unique experience that I highly recommend you do when you come to Argentina. The town itself is nice, it's okay, it's not necessarily the prettiest town in Argentina, but the surroundings of the city and the nature definitely deserve top marks. Now it's time to go to third place in my list. In third place, I'm going to go with Argentina's second biggest city, Cordoba. Now, Cordoba certainly is not as touristy or as naturally beautiful as Ushuaia, but the city has a brilliant energy and a brilliant vibe to it. It is one of Argentina's oldest cities, and you do see some colonial architecture here. The university in Cordoba is one of the most prestigious universities in South America and the oldest university in Argentina. The city is great for young people. There are young people everywhere, really good nightlife, really good bars. Cordoba is certainly one of Argentina's most livable cities. You got good cafes, good restaurants, and the good thing is, if you base yourself in Cordoba, you're a couple of hours on the bus away from Villa General Belgrano. You're a couple of hours on a bus away from the mountains and the Sierras. You're an hour on the bus away from Villa Carlos Paz if you really want to go there. Also, Cordoba is renowned to be the friendliest city in Argentina, and from my experience, I would agree with that. I do think people in Cordoba are very friendly. If I were to come up with a couple of problems with Cordoba, it can get very, very hot here in the summer, and there are not many amazing tourist attractions here, but I really did enjoy my time here, so I'm going to say third place for Cordoba. Now, moving on to second place. Second place is going to have to be Bariloche. The town is beautiful. The setting of the town is beautiful in the Argentinian Lake District. Like San Martin de los Andes, you have a history of German and Swiss and Austrian immigration here, and you can definitely see that in the architecture in the town and the vibe of the town. I think the food scene in Bariloche is one of the best food scenes in the whole country. The restaurants and the gastropubs here are fantastic. The Patagonian lamb dishes are really good. Bariloche is the chocolate capital of Argentina, so you have lots of chocolate shops here like Mamushka and Rapa Nui. The ice cream in these shops is phenomenal as well. The pubs are great. The beer is phenomenal. I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but the scenery is fantastic here. Though I do think, to be honest, the scenery in Ushuaia is a little bit more striking, but you certainly can't complain with the scenery here in Bariloche. You can, of course, do the route of the Seven Lakes tour, where you go from Bariloche through to San Martin de los Andes. This is actually the tour that I did. The link to this tour is down below in the description, but you don't have to book a tour. You can take public bus from Bariloche up to San Martin de los Andes. Of course, you have hiking opportunities, you have skiing in the winter. My only criticism of Bariloche would be, I personally do prefer warmer weather, and obviously for most of the year Bariloche is going to be cold, but other than that, you really can't criticize Bariloche. It really is a brilliant place to be. And so, of course, that means first place has to be Buenos Aires. Now, I'm not going to sit here and list out all of the activities you can do in Buenos Aires. I've made videos about Buenos Aires. You can check out this video I've put on the screen here. You can subscribe to my channel, and then you'll be able to see my Buenos Aires videos. But Buenos Aires is certainly one of the best cities in the world. You hear lots of people debate about the cities London, Paris, and New York. Some people prefer one city over the others. The great thing with Buenos Aires has a bit of everything. Some parts of the city are like New York, some parts of the city are like Paris, some parts are like London, some parts are like Eastern Europe, Belgrade, Bucharest, those kind of cities. There is always something to do in Buenos Aires, lots of tourist activities. The food scene is really good. The cafe scene is first class. There are parks and green spaces everywhere. I love the Palermo neighborhood. It is a little bit touristy, but it is just beautiful, beautiful buildings, fantastic cafes and pubs and bars and nightlife. Buenos Aires has something for everyone. It is impossible for anyone to dislike Buenos Aires. My only criticism would be that Buenos Aires doesn't quite have the wow factor of an Istanbul, Turkey, or a Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Oh, and also Christmas here is dreadful. There is not really a Christmas vibe at all in Buenos Aires, so don't come here for Christmas. But other than that, Buenos Aires is a first-class city. Now, as I said at the start of this video, let me know what you think about my rankings. If you agree or disagree, let me know, and comment below your rankings.